so that they use, because otherwise the airlines would be livid. You're using my landing slots. You know, I'm coming in for Newark, I've got to pay a plane full of passengers that need to be on the ground. So I think that's the way they've been able to appease the airlines and appease the airports and use that infrastructure without having to completely build a secondary air system.
How has no one caught a picture of one of these? No offense, but one of these planes. I mean, if you have other pilots and cockpits flying all the time, someone's bound to see one of these planes.
I've seen them.
Oh, we see them all the time.
You don't, yeah,
We just don't recognize it for what they are.
But when you're flying, I have two uncles that are pilots. They know who are in their airspace.
Yeah.
You have to identify yourself. If not, you will.
but you can say you
How are
are.
they not identified?
And who's to say that this particular flight, you know, it was a TWA flight 874. You know, it says it's this and this. Is it really? And
There's
it's,
a way to, there's
No,
a
no.
way to check that.
there is.
So I'm
But they
not
don't.
understanding how, like when they call that into ground control and says, hey, someone's in my flight space, they're going to register if there's not a flight agenda for that plane.
The people to talk to about this is air traffic control, the ATC guys.
Wait,
They're
are
the
you assuming
ones.
that there's no flight plan for these planes?
No, I am, but you're bound to run into each other. There's people, just ordinary people that fly planes all the time.
Sure, but
How has no one caught?
why wouldn't they have the same flight plan regulations as anybody else?
No, I understand that, but how are they identifying themselves
As
as
a commercial airline.
How are they identifying
Yeah,
themselves?
It's called hidden in plain sight.
The computer that the pilots that you're talking about look at to identify where's that information coming from? That's what you gotta ask.
If you look at some of those planes through a scope, you can see like DHL on that plane. So they could just be identified as a shipping or, you know, whatever.
So do they, that's what I'm asking. They're
They
just disguising themselves as someone else?
Or
flying?
yeah.
What I found is the biggest offenders for the persistent trails, the ones that create the clouds that last for hours, are FedEx, UPS, British Airways, and DHL.
To all our shipping.
The shipping ones, because they're on different schedules.
They can
They're-
do whatever.
They have more license than regular point-to-point commercial traffic.
International.
I'll also see C-117s, although I may spot 2 of those a day versus, you know, Southwest Airlines, Northwest Airlines, and United, they're just terrific. You know, and these airlines don't necessarily have the brightest business model. Most of them should have been bankrupt long ago.
Don't those shipping companies all fly at night, leaving the planes open during the day? I mean, every
Yeah.
pilot I've ever met, and I was in the airlines, they all flew at night if they're shipping. So I would leave the plane wide open during the day.
The other thing is that could just be a convenient place for the powers that be to go in and purchase another set of planes and use those shipping ins and outs for staging. You know, and then, you know, they're away from
like an Operation Paperclip or someone they were recruiting actual normal airlines to equip them to do this too, or was it that Paperclip?
I had a guy on my show about 3 weeks ago. His name was DC Griffin, and he was in the Navy, and he started investigating the history of the chemtrail movement, and was able to get into the FBI, was able to get into the Navy, and there is a contract to buy space on the commercial planes to carry the aerosols. What he didn't know was dollar amounts and how many airlines. He only got so far before they realized what he was looking into and shut him out. But my feeling is that if they're really this good at playing with the weather, they know next Thursday that they're going to need this trail. You know, they're going to need surveillance across Illinois, so that they'll stage, you know, 5 or 10 or 15 or 20,000 foot pallets in these particular airports, St. Louis or Chicago or Cincinnati, and they'll be on, let's just say 5 days out. Southwest Airlines is notified that this program, Cloverleaf, is going to require 15,000 pounds, and that's just included in the weight and balance planning of the particular flight. What I'm really waiting for is some of the AP mechanics to talk about the plumbing, because some of this plumbing will see planes, you know, with full wingspan trails, and some that are just coming out of the turbofans. So, I mean, these turbofans have been designed since the 70s I mean, the forethought is just that present. This particular trail is interesting because we've got, a square indent. And then as we see an increase in elevation, we go into kind of a helical spiral where you have, the trail spun by a shear layer between two different parts of the atmosphere, two layers. This was over Siberia, and this was following the FedEx flight. Imagine that. Those are my dogs. These were my two boys that every day I was out, for an hour or two with the camera. And so I got questions, well, Scott, the sun's always in the same spot, the sky, because the dogs get used to the routine. And so, we would go out and it was these two boys. So, Woodrow Wilson, president, and this was one of his quotes, there's just something going on behind the scene. Since I entered politics, I've chiefly had men's views confined to be private. Some of the biggest men in the United States in the field of commerce and manufacture are afraid of something. They know that there is a power somewhere so organized, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so pervasive that they better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation. Almost 100 years ago.
That's basically what Kennedy said.
And the more I learn about Kennedy, I have great respect for that man and his efforts to
The secret society speech that we've all heard.
time and time again.
Did he say that before the Federal Reserve or after the signing of the Federal Reserve?
I think it was the year that they were getting influenced to get the Federal Reserve passed.
That was the same year,
1913. Yep. So, one of these wing tips, I've not seen a chemtrail plane not have wing tips.
I don't see an insignia on that either.
I think that's British Airways. I'm not certain.
So is that a passenger jet?
Yeah.
So passenger jets can spray the chemtrails as well?
That's what we were talking about. That it's likely that, the plumbing is in place in the planes, it's just part of
Could
manufacturing.
it be when they go on autopilot?
And then what I'd like to ask a pilot is, do you always have control of your plane? Does it do things? Does it slow down? Does it speed up?
No,
You
I've
veer
sat
off
in the
course?
cockpit and they are sitting there reading the newspaper, not paying attention to anything. If anything happens, a buzzer sounds, and then they go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They don't pay attention to anything until they get to the point where they need to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could be doing anything.
So,
How about the Air Force guy that talked about it
you mean
in Colorado Springs?
yeah, he was the Honeywell guy.
Oh, okay.
Satellites, different platforms, and that these planes, if in dealing with the Oregon stimulated that they're capable of influencing the weather in a 5-mile radius, a 5-mile sphere around the plane. But
Who was the Air Force guy that said we want to own the weather by 2020 or something?
that was a paper.
Was it Air Force
Only-
9 or something?
It was Only the Weather 2025 was a position paper, and then there's another Air Force paper called Vision 2020. But what they've done is they've put out, at the time the papers were put out, which was the 90s, in a generation